Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of State Champs eSports Atari 2600 Playathon. Every day we have been playing classic Atari 2600 games, and today we have Activision's Kaboom with an exclamation point. Ooh, as you can see, you've got a mad bomber at the top of the screen, and you have buckets that you have to use to try to catch the bombs before they land and explode. Which, as you can see, I did not do that well with. You start with 3, which I guess would be comparable to your lives that most games will give you. And it gets even more challenging as each round passes. Oh, okay. Let me just finish this game, because it's intense. And we line back up for the last life. Alright, as you can see, this is a very challenging game. It ramps up real quickly. The first round or level is fairly straightforward, but then it escalates quickly, as they say. In case I didn't introduce myself, which I don't think I did, my name is Denver, and for the last several weeks I've been playing all my favorite Atari 2600 games from when I was a kid growing up in the early 80s. In 1980 I was 7 years old, which is approximately when I got my Atari 2600 gaming console. And so for the next 3 years or so, that's pretty much all I did when I was at home, was just play Atari games one right after another. So I've been using my time during the quarantine to relive some of my favorite memories by playing a lot of great games, and most of which I have to say still hold up very well, all things considered. Our show is sponsored by 3 great institutions, the first being Lawrence Technological University in Southfield, Michigan. You can visit their website. It is ltu.edu and find out more about all of their great programs. They are a technological school, so they of course have great engineering and robotics and math and science, but they've got a lot more than that, so definitely check them out. They've been a huge supporter of not only State Champs eSports, which you're watching now, but also our high school sports show as well, State Champs High School Sports. And of course we have to also thank Army Michigan. Go check out the US Army eSports Twitch channel. They've got a lot of great stuff going on over there. And last but not least is Hungry Howie's Pizza. They are famous for flavor. They are, in fact, the company who invented the flavored crust. Makes a perfect complement to playing your game, or games, depending on if you like to mix things up. I'm the kind of person, I like to play a lot of different games. I know there's some folks that like to just kind of focus all their energy and lock in on one, maybe two games. I like it all kinds of different ways. Now, admittedly, when I get a new game, I do tend to focus on that, but once the initial appeal runs out, then I like to just shake it up a little bit. Now, the reason I am playing Kaboom today is because we've been going through, well, we've been playing a lot of different games for the Atari 2600 over these last several weeks. But for the most part, we've been concentrating on the top 20 selling games of all time. And this was the last Activision game on the list. Yesterday we played Mega Mania, I believe. And so I wanted to kind of finish off the Activision portion of that top 20. And as I've said many times before, if you've listened to any previous episodes or watched any previous episodes, but Activision is definitely my favorite game designer. And Kaboom is no different. It was at the time one of my favorites. Definitely put many hours in on this game. I will tell you, the big difference is that for the Atari 2600 you use a paddle controller. It basically looked like a big round knob, almost like a dimmer switch that you would have maybe in your bedroom. And it makes playing this game a lot easier, I'll tell you that. Because as you can see, I am not doing all that well here, folks. Now the game is one of the many in the top 20 that are what I've dubbed the Million Seller Club, being that there was about, I think, 6 or 7 big titles that really was, 2 million plus, and then there was a whole slew of games that fell into the million plus range, and Kaboom was just one of those games. It came out in 1981. As I mentioned, it was produced by Activision, and the designer was Larry Kaplan, and he was one of the founders of Activision. In 1979, he started the company with a bunch of other Atari designers who felt like they were kind of getting a raw deal at the company, and so they started up, like I said, my favorite company. Now, Larry is interesting because he created 2 of the 9 launch games for the 2600. So he was very integral in the release of the system. And apparently, when he was looking to make this game, he wanted to use Avalanche as the basis, where instead of a bomber you had, like a rock slide kind of a thing, and you had to catch the boulders. But from what I've read, I've never played Avalanche, but from what I've read, it was just too complicated for the 2600 to handle. So they kind of switched it up and turned it into a mad bomber dropping his bombs. Ooh. Now, apparently, if you hit a 3,000 points, which I have not even got close to yet, you could send away for a patch from Activision. You could be part of the Bucket Brigade. And that's something that they did. We talked about it in last night's episode for Mega Mania, as well as Freeway. They were big on rewarding their most skilled, devoted players. And apparently, if you hit 10,000, the bomber makes a sad, frustrated face. Because you can see when the bomb explodes right there, watch his face, he smiles. So like right now, he's sad. So apparently, if you get to 10,000, you have like a permanent sad face, regardless of whether or not you've caught all the bombs. Now, I can't even get close to 3,000, let alone 10,000, so I don't think we'll be seeing that in tonight's stream. So, that round, as you can see, nice and easy. Gets a lot more challenging. Okay. And now it becomes almost impossible. Ooh, not too shabby, not too shabby. Now, I was talking about Larry Kaplan, who designed the game, and he, like I said, he was one of the founders, so he was at the company right from the start in 1979, and he only stayed until 82, and he worked at a number of other companies, including Amiga, which was a big one for me, and that doesn't seem to be that uncommon. I've been doing a research for all these episodes, and it seems like these designers really tended to kind of jump around from one company to the next. Seems like it was kind of a volatile work environment. And there was, of course, the big 83 video game crash that probably played havoc with a lot of companies and forced a lot of shuffling around of talent. Now it's funny that 83 was the video game crash that kind of killed off the Atari and television and the other systems at the time, but it was only 2 years later with the Nintendo system that the home video games kind of rebounded and came back. So I mean, that's really only a couple of years. Now, of course, you know, wasn't an overnight success. I'm sure you had to build back the industry. But it's not like home gaming died off and went away for years and years and years. And to be honest, since there were already so many consoles out there, people were still playing. They were just playing any new games, or at least on new consoles. Now, Larry also did create some other games for Activision, obviously. So in some future episodes, we'll play some of those Larry Kaplan design games that he did for Atari, and of course Activision. Alright, I'm going to do my benchmark game here, which means I'm going to use my high score from this game as my measuring stick to continue playing. If I can continue beating my previous game score, then I'll continue on. If not, I will call it a night. Okay, 91. Man, it takes... 118. 118, okay. Last guy left. 118. Alright. You just overstepped just by a little bit. Okay, 144. 144. Let's see if I can beat 144. I really need to invest in a paddle. I play all these games on the PC, so I wonder if there's a good paddle for the PC. Hopefully somebody out there, some Atari 11 geek has put one together. Oh, okay, 127. I can do it. I can beat 144. 144, come on. Yes, 147. I live to play another day, or at least another game. All right. I think what was that, 157? Ooh, that was ugly. Come on. I think for tomorrow's game, I am going to shake it up a little bit and do something I don't normally do. I'm going to play several games. There were a bunch of Star Wars games that Parker Brothers produced for the 2600, and I'm going to give those a shot. And it looks like I just talked my way out of playing another round. So thanks for watching, everyone. This is Denver from State Champs eSports. We just got done playing Kaboom. Hope you enjoyed it. Got to thank my sponsors before we leave: Lawrence Technological University, Hungry Howie's Pizza, and Army, Michigan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow as we play the Star Wars 2600 video games.